Welcome to Markets Today. I'm your host, Mbithe Mwema. It's Tuesday, 22nd of September, second trading day of the week. We will be giving you a highlights in terms of what was happening on the Nairobi Securities Exchange and some of the key corporate events we've seen happen over today, what we expect to also happen as for the remainder of the week. Later on, we want to talk about fixed income. What is happening there? What is happening to interest rates? And what should you be doing in terms of positioning in this particular asset class? I will introduce our guest for that particular part of the show later on. Let's take a look at what was happening yesterday on the NSE. So we have our chart there just giving you an overview of what has been happening on trades. We didn't expect a lot of activity in September. There was a lot of activity at the beginning of September. It sort of tapered down. Last week on Thursday, there was a huge trade in Safaricom. 115 million shares were traded. As expected, at the beginning of the week, we only had 203 million worth of turnover traded. Friday and Monday tend to be very slow days, so nothing peculiar there. The top trades yesterday was KCB, 1.57 million shares traded at a price point of 38. Let's take a look at what happened to the indices yesterday. NSE All Share, some slight downward price adjustment. It was down 70 basis points to 139.54 shillings. The key driver for this downward performance was Safaricom, which closed lower at 29.9 shillings per share. Safaricom has a material market weighting when it comes to the index. So any small price movement on Safaricom normally has an impact, especially on the NSE All Share Index, as well as the 20 share and the 25 share index. There was a slight upward adjustment on the NSE 20 share. The NSE 25 share was down 19 percentage points to 3,219.29 points. Who were the large movers yesterday? We had the Cooperative Bank of Kenya and KCB Group, which was 1.57 million shares traded. KCB traded at the 38 shilling mark. Cooperative traded 1.99 million shares, almost 2 million shares. We also saw a bit of movement on Equity Group, 1.5 million shares traded at a price point of 36 shillings per share. Safaricom muted activity, 1.4 million shares traded at the mark of 29.9 shillings per share. We've actually seen it trade back up today in the market. It's at about 30 shillings, 30.2 shillings. Centum Investment as well, a bit of activity there, 529,000 shares traded. Let's take a look at who the top gainers were in terms of price movement over the day. Small caps there dominating performance. Crown Paints, I beg your pardon, on minimal volumes traded, but it was up almost 10 percentage points to close at 49 shillings per share. Nation Media, which has been oscillating up one day, down the next day. Yesterday was the second highest gainer, up 8.57 percentage points to 17.1. Just before I came to the show, I was looking at the prices. It's up again and it's trading at 18.4. And we keep saying at 18.4, closer to the 19 shilling mark. If you have been a speculative buyer, you sort of want to take profit at this level. It has been oscillating between 16, it goes up to 18.5, goes to 19 on the higher side, then it comes back down. I think at 18.4 to the 19 shilling mark, it makes opportunity for you to take profit at this point in time. Nairobi Business Ventures there, Stanley Fahari I-rate, we talked about this yesterday. It's slightly up again, 7 percentage points up to 5.42. Home Africa, another one that's up one day, down the next day. Let's take a look at who the top losers for the day were. Liberty Kenya at 7.5, down 6 percentage points over the day on thin volumes. Home Africa, Housing Finance Group was down almost 6 percentage points to 4.13%. Kabasit was down 5.21 percentage points to 8 shillings per share. The key news that has come out on Kabasit, we've had one high net worth individual increase their holding in this particular stock. And this has been happening over the last couple of weeks. So we've seen Babalu actually increase his holding in this particular stock. That was the key corporate news that came out earlier in the day. Then we have Bamburi Cement, again down to 3.8 percentage points. It's now at 24.05. We continue to see a bit of profit taking. This stock came up from a low of 20 shillings last week on Monday, touched a high of 25.5 last week on Friday. Now it's tapering down at the 24 shilling mark. Let's take a look at the next chart for us. All right, that's pretty much what was happening on the NSE. For today, the Nairobi Securities Exchange had a live event where it launched what it calls the chart box. The NSE has been given the mandate for financial literacy as well as enhancing access to the NSE market for the retail investors. Earlier today, the Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Geoffrey Odundo, amongst an array of participants from the market, launched the chart box, in essence telling you that you can be able to communicate and have a one-on-one with the NSE using the chat box. This is available on the NSE website, and the NSE also has what they call the NSE Academy, a platform that wants to teach you more about the markets. So the chat box is available. They have been talking about it. You can go to our pages to get the live stream as well of what happened in the morning. And the NSE also wants to spend time each and every single Tuesday talking to you about what's happening in markets. So something for you to look out for. Now we take a break. When we come back, we are joined by Mr. Eric Mosau. Eric Mosau is part of the Standard Investment Bank team, and he will be talking to us about fixed income. What happened last week? There's what we call the triple play. The government was in the market looking for 50 billion shillings to fund its normal operations. It was able to attract slightly more than 50 billion. It attracted 81 billion. What were the rates like? What is the investor appetite looking like? Are we getting out of the uncertainty of COVID? And are people becoming more risk averse now that we are getting into an election cycle? Or are people preparing, or rather preferring, to stay safe and put their money in fixed income instruments? We take a look at this conversation when we come back from the break. As always, I invite you, send us an SMS. Where are you watching us from? Who are you? What is your name? What would you like to know? Our SMS line is 20146, or you could reach out to me, Mbithe Mwema, on Twitter or any other social media platforms. You could also reach out to us on Metropole TV. We want to hear your voice, we want to answer your questions on investments, and we want to be able to actually speak about your questions live on TV, be able to call out your name and address your investment concerns. We take a break. When we come back, let's talk about the fixed income play in Kenya, focusing on treasury bonds and treasury bills. See you after the break.